Welcome back, guys, to Level Up Reviews. I'm Matt, and we're going to talk Avengers Infinity War. This is the spoiler talk, and I'm going to put a little logo down here, spoilers. Just letting you know, there is going to be spoilers. So you can't tell me I didn't tell you. And plus, it'll be in the title. Let's get to it. Okay, so first thing off is I'm hoping you've seen the movie. If not, go see the movie before you watch this. Okay? And there's your last spoiler warning. So, Avengers Infinity War was amazing. I was blown off my feet. There was a few moments where I actually got a few tears because a few things happened. Unfortunately, Gamora died, and I want to talk about this scene. Actually, I want to start off with this scene. Thanos wants the Infinity Gauntlet. That's all he's ever wanted, was to complete the Infinity Gauntlet and fulfill his destiny. He thinks. Unfortunately, when we find out that the Soul Stone is on Firmir, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like Firmir. He has to sacrifice the one he loves to be able to achieve the Soul Stone. Gamora actually laughed. She was like, there is nothing you love. I'm laughing about this because you're never going to be able to complete the gauntlet. And as she's saying that, Thanos just turns around to her with tears. Yes, right. The villain, the badass of the MCU, was crying because he loved Gamora as a daughter. That was like his daughter. But unfortunately, he was like, bye. And he just dropped her. When he dropped her, I mean, my mind. But coming off that, he achieved the Soul Stone. Gamora's dead. That really sucked. But starting off this movie, they started off with a bang. They had Hulk versus Thanos. Now, Hulk's not in this movie very much, unfortunately, because of what happens here. So, Loki is kind of antagonizing Thanos for a second, and he was just like, we got the Hulk. And next thing you know, the Hulk just bursts out of nowhere and starts punching the crap out of Thanos. The Black Order, which is Thanos' like thugs, they even looked at him, they were like, no, don't worry about this. Let's let him have fun. And, yeah, Thanos has fun. It turns into a freaking Ali versus Tyson match. Fucking Thanos was Ali. And I'm saying that right now. Usually people would be like, oh, well, he's Mike Tyson because he's powerful. No. He was quick. He took Hulk. He threw him up there. He was like, boom. He was giving them jabs. He was giving them the left, the right. He gave him a knee. He was doing some MFC moves. He didn't care. UFC, not MFC, sorry. He was, didn't even care. Did not even care. And he beat the crap out of the Hulk. To the point that the rest of the movie, the Hulk refused to come back out. He was in so much shame that he lost to Thanos that he actually could not come back out. He was upset. So then we're going to move on to Star-Lord. So Star-Lord and Gamora. Before Gamora is killed, Star-Lord and Gamora have the little moment. They have a couple moments. We all know that throughout the movies, they've been building this up, and building this up. So Star-Lord and Gamora, they kind of kiss. So they share a moment where Gamora tells him, you need to kill me. You have to sacrifice me if Thanos gets me because I have a secret and you need to kill me. But I can't tell you the secret because he's going to want to kill you too. So he makes the promise and Gamora kisses him. I couldn't believe it. And with that said, unfortunately, Star-Lord does something in the movie that I believe is the direct cause of destroying everything. But I'm going to get to that soon. Alright, so Doctor Strange, and we're going to keep moving along. Doctor Strange gets a bump in this movie. It was amazing. He actually, he did some moves that you got a little glimpse of it in Thor Ragnarok. But he was doing crazy shit. He's throwing out, these orange beams that almost look like spiderwebs connecting to Thanos. He's throwing his, cape around. His cape is flying, grabbing stuff, independent of himself. And, I mean, Doctor Strange had a really big part in this movie. And speaking of Doctor Strange, as they were on planet Titan, Doctor Strange was floating in the air, and he was searching the cosmos through all the dimensions, trying to figure out the direct cause and what's going to happen to this. That comes in later, because in an attempt to save Tony's life, Thanos was about to kill him, and Doctor Strange gave up the Time Stone to save Tony's life. Now, at first, I was like, okay, that sucks. He's giving into this and he's going to let Thanos destroy the universe. But then I thought, what if one of the dimensions, and by the way, there was 14,605 multi-dimensions that Doctor Strange looks through. That's ridiculous. In a matter of like minutes. But what if one of those dimensions, the one that because he actually said in the movie, there was only one time that we won. What if the one time was when he gave up the time stone to save Tony's life? That might come into play later. I'm going to get back on that. Let that sink in. I'm now going to move over to Cap and Panther. Captain America's Captain America. He was a badass. He was a beast. He decided to have a new weapon. These like they're like shield daggers. Like they came out this far and they had a little point on them so he could still block. But he was like, I mean, when they had the war at the end, I mean, he was cutting down crap. He was did not care. He was ripping through those freaking creatures. And him and Panther, holy shit, Panther didn't have a big role in this one. I'm sorry for everyone who loved Black Panther, but he didn't have the biggest role. But him and there was like hundreds of warriors, including like, you know, Hulk, or not Hulk, but Bruce in the Hulkbuster costume, Black Widow, like just a bunch of heroes. There was a bunch of Wakandan soldiers, everyone. As they're running towards the barrier to go stop these creatures, here comes Cap and Panther. Nope, they're already ahead. They were like 100 feet ahead. They didn't care. They were so fast, no one could keep up with them. And they plowed through everyone. So, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. You know what? Actually, I'm going to save those for the end. Thanos, he was good. Thanos was really good. I mean, right off the bat, he's killing people. He killed Loki. He killed Heimdall. And you just, right off the bat, you're like, I hate you. Like, right off the bat. But then you start to sympathize with him because they kind of go through his story. I don't believe this is an Avengers movie. I believed it was more Thanos. Like, they could have called this movie Avengers, Thanos' Journey or something, and I would have fully believed that. So, this was more of a Thanos movie. Now, they go through his backstory. You start to learn a little bit more about Thanos and what he does. You learn, kind of what happened with him and Gamora, and just a bunch of different things. And you actually sympathize with him until you realize that he's trying to cause mass genocide in the universe, because the Infinity Gauntlet, one of its ultimate powers is to snap, and he can wipe out half the universe in one single snap. Which he does, because at the end of the movie, right when you think everything's about to, you're like, oh god, they're gonna figure out this way. Fucking Thor came down with his new Stormbreaker, which I'm gonna get to that part in a minute. He came down with Stormbreaker and he just bashed him in the stomach. I mean, it's hanging out of Thanos, and Thanos just goes, "You should have aimed for my head." Boom! And he just snapped, and the blinding white light goes through everything. Thanos backs out of a portal back to Titan, and people start disappearing. The end of the movie, people start disappearing. They start fading away into the dark. Spider-Man, he's crying, saying, "I don't want to go." I mean, he was clinging onto Tony Stark, and you felt for Spider-Man, because he's a kid. And he was going away. Drax, you felt the connection between Drax and Star-Lord, because Drax, he just looks over at Star-Lord and is like, Quill? And he just has the worry. I mean, you've never seen him with an upset face. He was worried. He was frightened. And he disappeared. Such a powerful scene. Everyone, I mean, fucking Cap looks back at Bucky, and Bucky just kind of looks at him, and Cap just has those eyes like, oh no, and Bucky fades away. Half the world's population. But as they're all fading away, one person comes up in the end credit. That's right, Samuel motherfucking Jackson. As he's fading away, he has this thing, and he's like, you look like he's texting or something. He's like, okay, what, beep, beep, beep. And then as he's starting to fade away, gets up to his face, he does the greatest thing. He goes, motherfuck, and it fades away before he can finish his famous line. But as that thing drops, we see a symbol on there for Captain America, or Captain Marvel. Sorry, not Captain America. For Captain Marvel. So that means the next one, Captain Marvel's going to be in there. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, it ends. That's the way it ends. I mean, Thanos wins. He snaps his fingers. He goes back to Titan, and he just sits down, and he just smiles as he watches the sunset. Because now he's at peace. He's gonna be a farmer now. And you think I'm joking? In the comic books, Thanos becomes a farmer because he's achieved his goal. So now he's in retirement. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm gonna get to a few negatives right now. Um, Two things popped out at me. One was the pacing. The pacing was great, but the problem was the movie is this. It's jumping, 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 jumping all the way through. It's never like one shot connected to no. It's like you're on Earth. Now you're in Wakanda. Now you're in space. Now you're back in Wakanda. Now you're over Titan. Now, I mean, it's jumping around a lot. But it works. But it's still a negative I'm going to throw out. But I still think it works. They they did a really good job of connecting everything together, and I really appreciated what they did. And I don't think anyone else could have done this movie the way they did. This was an event that happened, and this is like probably the biggest event, biggest movie style we're ever gonna get for a long time, and that's powerful. Um, so everything's done, and it's just yeah. I was amazed by what happens in this movie. It's incredible. It really is, and I don't know. Like one more thing I didn't like. So we had the pacing was but then the other thing I thought was the Thor's Forge. Okay, so I don't know the name of this place, but he goes to this place and it has a dwarf there. The dwarf is Peter Dinklage, but the funny thing is the dwarf is bigger than Thor. He's huge. He has like a huge ass head. I kind of felt like that took you out of the movie. I know it was important, and the Forge was how they create Stormbreaker. But I felt like they could have done a little bit better because those moments when you're on that and he's dealing with trying to make Stormbreaker, it pulls you away from the movie. Kind of like how Finn and Rose in Star Wars Last Jedi pulled you away. This one felt like you pulled like I didn't even remember Thanos for a split second, and then I was just like, can we just go back to Thanos? Because anytime he was on screen, I was glued. I was there. I mean, that's how strong his presence was, and you knew when he got on, you heard horns. I mean, you heard this music, this dementing music, and you were just like, shit is about to happen. I mean, you just knew. It was amazing. I mean, I'm kind of looking. I'm looking through some notes. I'm just looking through a few of my notes real quick because there was so much I had to write down so many things for this movie because there's so much that happens. You really just need to go. I mean, okay, how about this? Thanos. He even has a soft side. So right before he gets the final gem, and yes, Vision dies. It's sad, but we all kind of expected that. So right before he rips that freaking gem, um, Scarlet actually decides, or well, Vision makes her. He forces her to do it, but he forces Scarlet to empower the gem and destroy it so Thanos can't get it. Right. So she does. She accomplishes this, and in doing so, she kills Vision. Well, unfortunately, Thanos has the time stone, so he was just like, nope. He brings him back. So, but as he's doing that, he actually pats Scarlet Witch on the head, and he was just like, I understand your sacrifice. Because that's what he had to do with Gamora. So he's just like, I understand what you're doing, and he just leaves her. Doesn't hurt her, he sympathized with her. But then he brought Vision back and was like, nah, gimme. And he stole the freaking gem. Like, I mean, he just like popped that right out of Vision's head, and Vision went gray and fell on the ground. You knew he was dead. So he got the final stone, and then everything ended. Um, yeah, I really think this movie. There's not enough good things I can say. I want to see it again. I love this movie. They did such a good job. Go see this movie. Trust me, it's worth the money. Go see this movie. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you guys all. Level up reviews. We're trying to get some more fan base. So just make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that little bell if you want to see more videos pop up as they do. And just remember to keep leveling up, guys. Have a good day.